not everything here is bad, even though it may look like it.
I feel like Tenderloin makes the young people more resilient, and because they have to address and deal with and face things that most kids from maybe more affluent or better resource neighborhoods don't have to work with.
This neighborhood shapes my personality by making me a stronger person, and to be able to shrug off all the dirty things in life that pull you back.
I feel the children has adapted to the Tenderloin because they're aware that their family need affordable housing, and it's very hard for families to receive any type of assistance in San Francisco.
For the kids that grow up in the Tenderloin are definitely shaped by it. For example, when we walk through the neighborhood on a field trip, certain things that would make me cringe or kind of veer off to the side of whatever's happening there, whether it's someone shooting up crack cocaine or if it's someone that's sleeping on a mattress, most people would kind of veer off to the side of it and ignore it, whereas kids here acknowledge it. They'll nod their head to the person just to acknowledge that presence, and they won't veer off. They're not scared. They're not afraid of what's in the Tenderloin, and that makes them tough.
At the same time, it probably wears them down in the same way that it does everyone when you see negative activities, when you see crap on the floor and not clean and broken windows and lack of green spaces. It just emotionally and mentally and spiritually and physically kind of hurts them in ways that we can't capture by number.
With the kids that live here, they see that every day and they know that it's real, and they know that all the nice things we have and the education we have, they're lucky to have it, and they know that there are people that are going hungry tonight, and I think that kids that grow up in the Tenderloin realize that every day. They have a daily reminder of real life and their place in it.
I learned how to be safe in the Tenderloin because of when I was a kid. I started walking on my own when I was 8, so I started to know what things around me and started to know started to be aware of everything around me, looking down the ground if I stepped on something bad.
Right now, I'm not sure whose concern is safety. The police aren't doing too much to reassure us that we are safe. We make phone calls, no one answers for hours on end. Sometimes they don't answer at all.
I think police has a unique role to play in the enforcement of safety, that they're there to protect and to serve the community members, because we don't want community members themselves having to take actions on people who are harassing them or committing violence on the streets. That's not necessarily a community's responsibility. But
safety is a big concern for the community. Since maybe about a month ago, there was a shooting that 8 people was injured, and therefore the area had to have more police presence around here and more surveillance camera around here, which is allowing residents to feel freely but not so safe.
I think that the police have made the Tenderloin an area where they confine all the activity. You'll notice it's just certain streets, it's certain blocks. And I think the police make it part of their job to confine all the uncomfortable activity within that sector, so that the tourists at Union Square aren't affected, the people shopping at the mall aren't affected, Nob Hill isn't affected, past Van Ness, they're not affected.
I feel like safety is a concern for everyone, because if it's unsafe, it's affecting everybody around us, and I feel like the police should be more aware of that.
The Tenderloin actually has the biggest percentage of families in San Francisco. That's what I've heard, and so I think therefore it's everyone's concern that this is a safe neighborhood, that people can walk the streets, that their kids can go to a playground and not have to worry about stepping on a needle or just being able to play. Everyone wants that. We need to feel safe to learn, to grow, to be happy.
The safety is a concern on both parts, especially the community, the people, because they're the ones who living in the streets, living in the district every day in Tenderloin. And the police are the people who are supposed to help us and find a way to make our neighborhood more safe. So in a way, it's both part. And if you don't meet both expectations, then there isn't a balance. And that's where you find injustice.
An ideal safe neighborhood would be one where youths ages 5 through 24 or even younger can run around in the streets, bike, jog, walk their dog, walk their parents, I guess. I don't know, just walk through their neighborhood without having to feel like they're in danger all the time.
My idea of a safe neighborhood would be more programs, getting involved with the kids, like Boys and Girls Club and Glide and other after schools that'll make sure that they get a good life.
Something that makes a safe neighborhood is no drunk people on the street.
Yeah, I would want to raise my youth in a neighborhood where the streets are clean, where they would see positive vibe, they would just learn from the neighborhood and the community they live in.
What I want to see improved in this neighborhood is the child's environment, so they could be able to thrive and become successful in life.
The youth, especially their tomorrow's future,
I like to see probably less homeless people on the streets.
I would change the poverty and homelessness, because that's one of the most important things to me that I want to tackle when I get older and solve. And so,
if I could change one thing in the Tenderloin, I would change the fact that a lot of people don't have housing and they just stay on the streets. I would I don't know, more housing.
The one would be clean the streets. Anyone can clean the streets, although it may not be their job. It's just I guess if you want something done, do it yourself. So how would I put it? Just clean up the streets. Having community cleanups every Sunday.
We're known for having the highest pedestrian, getting hit and runs, getting hit by the cars in the Tenderloin. I feel we're the highest percentage of people who get hit in the Tenderloin, and I would want that to change. So I want more safety with the people. And
I love the Tenderloins. I love coming to work. I love positive things.
For me, what I like about the community or the Tenderloin especially is the resources that are provided for the many youth here. Many of us are not provided with what we need, the resources we need at home, so for the community to provide it, that's amazing.
I said earlier that the word that describes Tenderloin to me is complex, and I think that's why this neighborhood is fascinating and also vibrant and just amazing, because there's so many resilient people, and seniors, kids, immigrants, people who speak different languages, people who have different capacity mentally, physically, but it's so complex.
I love the Tenderloin. I love it so much because it's the only place in the city where people are real. They're not concerned about things that don't matter. They're not concerned about what kind of purse you're wearing, or they're not concerned about where you're gonna go eat brunch this Sunday. They're not.
I love the building that I work in. I love the families and they sincere care about the environment.
There's a lot of good things happening here in the Tenderloin. There's a lot of service. There's a lot of organizations that are truly helping people and want to help. It's like what we do here at Demiriac Academy, or what people at the Coalition on Homelessness are doing in St. Anthony's and Glide. It's all God's work. And so the Tenderloin puts you face to face with people who really need your help.
So you can't say Tenderloin is this one thing or this one other thing. When you try to define it, there's always something else that kind of pops up and you're I didn't know about the Tenderloin. And I think that's what makes it beautiful, because you can't just define it, but it's something that you have to actually be here and experience for yourself. And again, the people here are resilient and amazing and hopeful.
I just kind of consider the Tenderloin my home. Even though I don't live here, it's a place where I feel comfortable and where I know people, where I know they'll say hi, where people will look you in the eye.
What I like about the Tenderloin is getting to meet different kind of people every day. No matter if you're walking to school or you're walking back home, like you always get to meet that different new face that you never seen before.
It's easier to hear God's call and what you can do for others here in the Tenderloin. And it's just a rad place. We have a lot of cool stuff with a lot of real people. It's just a community. That's what I love about the Tenderloin. That it's a really close-knit community, full of love.